let's get on with Doug. You're back on Spotlight, Doug. And as they say, it's your show.
Okay, so here's what we got going on. A couple of weeks ago, I did a demo where I took a blank, routed out the shape of a bell, poured the resin, let the resin get hard, flipped the blank back over. As I hollowed it out, you saw the bell come through, and that was the bottom of the bowl. So similar project, only this one's done on a scroll saw. So the bowl was turned almost complete, a little bit thicker than what we want. And then I took a pattern off of Steve Goodman's Scroll Saw Workshop. He's got tons of free patterns. Dropped that in the bottom of the bowl, ran it through the scroll saw, got my pattern, went back to the workbench and did 2 different pours of resin because I wanted 2 different colors. And if this all works tonight, you'll get to see where the 2 colors are, and then I'll explain how I poured it and how all that came together, how I filled the hole with resin and didn't get resin everywhere. I'll walk you through that process. Here's the scary part, folks. I've never used this resin before. So this is called Dr. Crafty's resin. I got it off Amazon Prime. I threw the name in the chat, but if somebody's smarter than me, which is probably just about all of you, and know how to actually put a link to it in Amazon Prime, cool. But otherwise, just go to Amazon Prime if you're interested in it. It's they got a couple of different options on how you can buy it. I went with the 2-gallon kit. Okay, so what I did off camera when we were getting the meeting set up was I am using my vacuum chuck now because there's no mortise or tendon anymore because it's already been to the scroll saw. It's already got the resin poured in it. So how did I get it centered back up? I used my center finder on the bottom of the bowl, found center, used the tailstock. It gets you real close. Sometimes I've been lucky where I didn't have to adjust it all after that, but usually it still takes a little fine tuning, and tonight took me a little fine tuning, got it as best I could, and then I went ahead and just used my scraper and rounded it one more time just to make sure it'll turn true. And hopefully I didn't bump it too much before we get started. But at any rate, now I'm going to turn the vacuum chuck on. I'm going to pull the tailstock away, and I'm going to turn out my mortise again. You're going to see the mortise for this bowl is way too big. The reason was I had my big jaws on my chuck, and I was too lazy to change them. So we're going to stick with that same way too big of a mortise. But that's the only reason why I went with the extra large mortise. It's not for strength, it's stability. It's just because I was too lazy to change out jaws. So with that said, the vacuum chuck is on. Hopefully everything's holding. Shield's going down. I'm going to back the tailstock away. Remove the live center because we know what that does to elbows if you don't.
Hey, Doug, what pattern did you embed in the bottom?
Say that one more time.
What's the scroll pattern you used?
I'll show you when it comes through. And I'll
Good
tell
job.
you what,
Good job. Good surprise.
if it works, it's because the Army did it. If it fails, it was the Navy's fault.
Well, I'm not glad the Air Force ain't involved in that.
Right? The Air Force is not involved in this one. But we may do one in the near future for the Air Force.
The Air Force might be there because if he goes flying, they might have to look for it.
This is true.
Air Force has plausible deniability.
But the Coast Guard goes for search and rescue.
So does Civil Air Patrol.
Doug, you're using a vacuum chuck. You're using a Powermatic. Is that the built-in unit?
Correct. Yes, it is.
Okay, just to clarify.
I do not understand how that works. I'm shoving air in and it's creating a vacuum, but whatever. It works.
Venturi system.
That's the name of it. Okay, the cutter I'm going to be using on this one is the Easy Wood Negative Rake. Again, that just happens to be what's on this tool, but there's plenty of ways to do it. You can cut with traditional tools if they're sharp enough, but I think just to save time, we're going to stick with this one. And here we go. It didn't fly off the vacuum chuck, so far so good.
Is that flat on a tool rest or you got it kicked on an angle?
Just a slight angle.
All right.
And it doesn't sound good. No, I think we're doing all right.
How fast are you?
Right now, I'm just trying to get a flat surface to work with. And then pretty much the blue that you see is the filled in mortise that we need to turn back out so we can reverse chuck this. And I think I heard somebody ask how fast I'm going. Ooh, we need to change that. That's bad luck. Okay,
Correct.
we're going
421.
The right speed.
668. We're at 668, 667, 668, 667. So we're right in there. But we're no longer on 666.
That's 640 when you put the tool to it.
If those numbers mean anything to you, you're still a rookie. Turn it at the safest speed you can turn it.
That's right.
Isn't that according to Jimmy Clues?
I'm not a great fan of Jimmy the Flying Bull Clues. That's all.
Oh, it is pretty soft. Okay. Well, let's see what happens.
Famous last words. Here, hold my beer.
Yep.
Sucking on your resin into your vacuum.
Well, it's a good thing we're a family show. Because when it does happen, Doug will rename people.
Now I'm just using a regular parting tool, nothing fancy.
You're just trying to hog out the resin right now.
This is all extra resin that we don't need for anything. So we just need it to go away to make a mortise again.
Need it to go on the floor.
Video's doing a little chopping, Doug. Now you're back.
So Doug, Clint Doyle said he's used that resin before, and he said it took about 2 days for it to finally cure and be hard to turn.
Yeah, I poured this on Sunday.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I take that back. I poured the gold on Sunday. I poured the blue on Monday. So yeah, the blue, which is there's more blue than gold, it has only had since Monday, Tuesday, and now today. So
Did you not put it in a vacuum pot?
the gold I did not. The blue I did.
Thank you, Dane, for passing along those questions. Really
you're
handy.
Trying to catch them.
Folks, if you've got a question that you need to pass along to Doug and you may be a little slow to ask it or reluctant to, put it in the chat. We'll let him know.
And if you want your name withheld, just say no name or anonymous, whatever. So take care of you.
Boy, that is a big.
Deeper.
You gonna use your 5-inch jaws on that, Doug?
I am.
Okay.
At least.
Not because it's necessary, just because I didn't change them out.
Right. We've all been there.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I want to go a little deeper, but I'm nervous. I don't want to punch through.
little editorial comment here before Doug continues on is, if you're a new member or you're a seasoned turn or whatever, and you're wondering why he's being careful in doing this, we all do it. We all do. But then we're going to learn and maybe get some tips and hints on how to avoid problems. So that's why we continue.
And if anybody has anything to show tonight, go ahead and pop it into the chat and I'll get your name written down. We've got folks chiming in already, so.
Should have a good gallery to look at stuff.
Doug, if that thing really gets dirty over there, I understand that Ronnie Bonnet knows how to use a broom around the shop. We can get him out there for you. If you're just joining us, this piece is being held by a vacuum chuck. Speed's about 660 plus minus. And he's using a carbide cutter, and he's got the bar tipped up on or down on the left-hand shoulder, not to have it flat. So he is doing a slicing cut versus a plow.
I really need to get all that off, but for demonstration purposes, we're just going to leave it there.
Doug, how many inches of vacuum are you pulling?
The gauge is at 12 o'clock. What's that mean?
It's about 2022.
I have my glasses on. I can't see it.
Oh my God, he's turning out his glasses on.
I don't need them for this part, but I need them for little numbers like that. Oh. I know I keep going back and forth on you guys here, but I just want to make sure that I'll be able to grab it with the chuck when I turn this around. Oh.
If your gauge is like mine, straight up is about 15 pounds or 15 inches rather.
Okay, my ear tells me that's getting pretty thin, so we're just going to have to call it. All right, let me make sure I'm in the range of close enough. Uh-oh, I might have gone too big. Not too big that the chuck's not going to fit, but too big that these jaws are going to open wider than I wanted them to. Yeah, it did.
Don't worry, Doug. Well, I've been there too.
We all have.
Yep. I just wonder why Doug did make one of those gizmos to have a gauge. That's a nifty tool. Oh, wait, he does have it. Just maybe not that right size.
You got to use it before it works.
If you haven't, you're lying.
Okay. find out.
Might mention while Doug is doing this, if you have a vacuum truck with a ring like that, do not put the foam down on your workbench. You want to put the hub down on your workbench because whatever damage you do to that foam might stay and it makes a weak point in your vacuum.
So here's a mistake I don't want to tell you how many times I've made. Leaving that in and then putting a spur drive in and then going, now what do I do?
Why the gods made channel lock wrenches.
You would think I would have only made that mistake once though. No, I did it a few times.
You know, I stepped up into the DD. I have the DT. I have a vice grip.
Plug your air hose in it and blow it up.
Whoa, now we're here in front of the professionals. Folks, it's 13 minutes after the hour. You're invited to be part of this. If you have a question or comment, feel free to put it in chat or press the space bar and go ahead and ask the question. We're a family program. Profanity is absolutely not permitted. So.
Doug,
Not very easy for some of us.
Doug,
I know that.
Back on in the same orientation. Did you keep track of jaw number 1?
Jaw number 1.
Come on, the way he chopped on that thing, there's no way.
It's fairly close. I could probably true it up just a little bit more, but we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, so you all see nothing but blue resin right here. If this works, when it comes through, you're gonna see the pattern. You're gonna see the blue resin that should be there. You're gonna see the gold resin that should be there. And all this excess resin will just go down on the ground. And we're getting an amber alert. Arizona temporary.
All right. Doug is
okay. Are y'all still there?
We're here, Doug.
Okay, I just got an amber alert out here in Arizona. Dane probably got it too. So might need a second for him to pop back on if we lost him.
Dane says it shows that Dane's on.
Okay. I still hear it popping up through my phone.
Yep, we must be out that way because we just had a couple other folks get bumped.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Gotcha, Dane.
Amber alert out in Mesa, I think is what I just saw.
Fine, outstanding utes they're looking for.
Yeah. All right. Sealed back on. We're gonna go real slow just so we find center right quick.
Hey Doug, have you ever thought about using locking collar bars on your tool rests?
Oh, you're talking about those things where it only drops down so far?
Right.
I had that on my old lathe. But
I have them on all my tool rests. It's just super handy. That way you don't have to worry about finding center again.
But so how do you do it when you're using different size tools? So like when I change over to something else and the tool's a different thickness, then I need to adjust my tool rest.
Sure. You know, if you're going down, to the 3/8 inch size, then
Okay.
to adjust or
Because that's why when I got the new lathe and the different tool rest, I didn't use one anymore. I was like, that thing, it seemed like it took more time to then take it off and set it up with a new tool and switch back and forth.
right. Well, the majority of my tools are 3/4 inch round, so.
Oh, okay.
The smaller.
All right, so here we go again.
Safety is important. That's why Doug is wearing the shield, and that's why he stops his machine before he changes the height of his tool rest. It's all in the safety procedures.
Yes.
Dana, I cheated on that gauge thing. I put my tool rest at dead center and took my hacksaw and pulled the ring around my shaft.
Yep, that's
So-
that's another way too.
Yeah, and that way I can eyeball it from there on.
Right. But it's handy to have a quick reference, you know, when you drop them in. That way you don't get out of your mojo rhythm when you're trying to set everything up.
Somebody on Facebook or YouTube had one where he cut it out of different thicknesses of a plastic product.
Right.
And you put the plastic product on top of the tool rest, drop the post down until the tool rest hits it, and
Right.
you're in the ballpark. There's a million ways to do it. We're going to share them all.
Right.
Did mine with corian.
I can believe that. I would. You cut the width of the corian to fit up against it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We all keep talking about corian and won't be any scraps for any of us out there.
I'm all set for the foreseeable future.
I'm down to about 200 pounds, so I got to be careful.
Yeah, right.
When I was six years ago or so, my wife and her family came and cleaned up my yard, and there's probably a ton of it out there, and it's all gone.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, they thought it was scrap,
Yeah.
but then some of the turning tools I made out there were gone too, and they thought that was scrap. I see Brace from Indiana says he's got a flying bowl to show us later on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a little bit of gallery between the two demonstrations because we have Doug Miller in Kentucky is going to do a demonstration on the negative tension for a spindle in a little bit. That's interesting. I've done it a couple of different ways. I want to see the way Doug does it because he did something last week that was awesome.
We're looking
I
forward to
got,
that.
grass for the Easter baskets now come March or April, whenever Easter is this year. Okay, I'm starting to see some wood in there, so we're getting closer.
I thought that was a new type of spaghetti.
Yeah, that could be. Spaghetti
Angel hair.
I thought it was hair. I keep it and put it on my head.
Don't give me any ideas, Jack.
Okay.
I'm gaining, Jack.
Put it on your chin at Christmas time. You'll be Santa Claus.
I like it.
I don't think I need that.
I thought you were all tied up.
See, if he has all that string and then he gets earrings, we'll never get Doug out of the mode again. Did you increase speed?
Yeah, I'm at 668 right now.
Okay.
My mortise is not very deep at all, so if I get any catch, this thing's gone. So close. I should probably just get more aggressive and just jam it in there, right? And get it done?
Yeah,
Maybe not.
that's what I would do.
What I would do too. Go for it.
Then they fly.
I got my glove on, so I'm ready. We got about 85, 86 people watching tonight. Good turnout considering there's nothing on regular television.
I can't even tell you guys how many phone calls I got today. Are you gonna have to go? No. No.
I think that is a correct way of doing it, finessing your way into the bowl.
Yes.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I think that is the correct way of doing it, finessing it, trying to just a little at a time, take
Oh,
your
yeah.
time, and don't overdo it. That's the way you won't have it flying on you.
Are you guys able to see the gold coming through yet right here?
Barely,
Yes.
but yes.
Barely?
Yes.
I wonder if I stick some light behind. Well, I'll bump the phone if I do that. Okay, we'll just
Nope,
keep
nope. Don't make any changes. I think you're doing well. Please.
Yeah, because when you put direct light on
Somebody
it,
was asking what brand face shield you're using.
It's the one from Amazon.
Ionics, $24.99.
Dane, your volume is just barely. We're barely hearing you.
Thank you. I was wondering who that was.
Yeah, it's
How about
Dane, but
now?
no better.
No better?
So Doug, when you didn't cut the other side?
I did already.
Yeah, can hardly hear you.
Now.
No.
Crap. What's wrong?
We've had a few folks join us in the last few minutes. We have Doug Moore. He's in Doug Rowe, pardon me. He's out in Arizona, and he's got this piece he turned. He's using a new kind of epoxy that he found. That's in the chat where he got it from and what it's called. And it's a little bit tender. So he's using a scraper on it to get it down to shape. And it's going to have a couple of colors and some pattern in it when he wraps up.
How's my microphone volume now?
There you go.
Much better.
Much better.
Great.
Even I can hear you now.
Well, that's important.
Novice turners, pay attention to what Doug's doing right now. He's starting from the center and pulling out, and he's going to eliminate. If he went the other way, he may create a divot if you go pushing in. So his drawback cut is a good way to eliminate that divot. You get better control on the drawback than you do on the push.
Well, it's almost there. We just got this, but the bottom's starting to come. We're real close to being done. So just where the resin wasn't level, I guess.
Resin looks like it's cured in that section that you're cutting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, only time will tell.
A little more. The Navy is almost with us.
Folks, our website is www.worldwidewoodturners.org. And on the cover page, you will see a map of where Worldwide Woodturners are, because you're all over the place. If you want to get your address included, just add it to a text on the site, on our contacts, on our contact page on the site, and that will go right to our website manager and creator, and he'll use it. We'll add to it. We want to cover the world, David.
Phone's thin.
Yeah. You know, it's then when it talks back to you. How fine he can make that cutter on a pullback with a little bit of angle on that tool. Notice he's got the tool kicked down on the left-hand shoulder.
Oh, we're so close. So close.
Yep, it's thin.
It's either gonna make it or break it.
I hate when they say that.
One last cut.
Yeah.
Like
Walk away.
Final cut to smooth it up.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous.
Okay, you do, if you try to sand it at that and it's not as dense as you'd like, it will just come up, overheat, and leave town.
God, I'm nervous just watching it.
I was holding my breath.
I know, I was too.
I need to do my little Sharpie trick right quick. Where is my Sharpie right here? So I don't remember which one of y'all I learned this from, but when there's a particular area that you want to focus on, which for me is there to there. So
The chalk trick.
Here. And I know I don't
Where
really
to
need
keep
to
your
cut that side. It may make an uneven bowl, but this is so thin, I don't want to keep going here to get to there. And well, you know what I'm talking about.
What are you doing?
He's highlighting the rough area that he wants to turn down and allow him to avoid cutting the side of the bowl that's already perfect for him.
No
You can do
way.
it. You can do it with a piece of chalk, but since the sidewalk incident in front of the house, I'm not allowed to have chalk.
So when the mark, that's when you know you're good.
It's
Right,
just giving me a
once it's
border.
gone. So when you use chalk and you rub that, you know, mark that over the rough spot on your bowl, and then when it's turning, you can see it, and you know the area that you need to concentrate on to remove, you know, the defective grain.
Well,
And
I'll be.
And the beauty of the chalk is it will go to the deepest part of the
right
of the distressed
Crater,
area.
crevice.
Okay.
But yeah, I keep chalk sitting right up on top of the headstock, and that's part of my final cut process is lining out, seeing how the chalk feeds into the grain, and then I use that for my final shear scraping.
Another tip right here on worldwidewoodturners.org.
And you can do the same thing when you're sanding. You cover, you know, mark over it with the chalk, and then go through your sanding process. And once all the chalk is gone, you've got your bowl sanded perfectly.
So what, you just kind of sneak into it first? I mean, instead of just going into it, you just kind of sneak into it?
Yeah, you know, it's at slow speed, and you just put your chalk on it.
I'm not muted.
Or if it's an individual spot, you know, like the end grain on the outside of a bowl, mark on it with the chalk, and then just concentrate working on that area to remove that stubborn grain.
Oh, it's an anchor.
I'm gonna hit it with a touch of CA glue, and I think it'll show up better for you guys. Let me
You can just shoot it with some denatured alcohol.
I guess I could. Yeah, it's already here.
I do. Man, that thing's gonna pop. Oh yeah.
Wow, awesome.
Good.
Soup the nuts in 33 minutes, folks.
Oh, I'm not gonna throw this in the trash can. If you're not familiar with CA glue, it kind of gets a little smoky. So I just throw it outside. It gets hard, and then I'll throw it away later.
You also know if you throw it in the trash can, it'll stick to the can. Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Bob Moffett just joined us this evening. Hi, Bob.
Evening, Bob.
We talked about your ornaments earlier, Bob. Thank you.
Okay, so.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Looks
Yeah,
good.
That's nice. Oh, that's
Now
cool.
Absolutely.
That is
Very nice, very nice.
Now I know why he wanted to blame the Navy.
So, okay, so now I'll walk you through right quick how this process happens. It's actually pretty simple. So, in my opinion, wood turning is way more fun and way more satisfying to me than scroll saw work. But I think scroll saw work is a bazillion times easier because you're just following a pattern. So I found me a simple pattern. Again, turn the bowl first. And I turned it on a mortise, not a tenon. Turn the bowl down, leave it a little bit thicker than what you want it to be on your end result. Then you drop your pattern in, take it to the scroll saw. Well, drill press first because you got to put a bunch of holes in there. And then over to the scroll saw. Now you've got a bowl with this pattern cut out in it. Then you just take regular old packing tape and run it across the bottom. Then I did the gold first. So I poured the 2 stars and the US Navy. You can pour the gold at the same time, but here's the advantage to not. And this happened to me. So when I poured the gold, some of the gold got into the blue area. You're not going to really clean it up. It's resin, right? It's just going to smear everywhere. So just let it get hard. Then once it's done, take it back to the scroll saw and just cut out whatever gold resin fell into where you wanted the blue. Then again, retape, pour the blue, let it set again till it's all nice and hard. When I poured the blue, what I did when I put the packing tape is I didn't put the tape on there tight like I did with the gold. I put the blue all the way, or the tape all the way across in order for the resin to fill the mortise. Because when I scroll sawed this out, of course, I ruined the mortise. There's all kinds of crazy lines in here following this pattern. So that's why I needed the resin to fill the mortise back up so then I could turn a new mortise. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Obviously, so I'm going to be doing this demo for my local club. And the idea is I'm going to have done in stages because we only meet once a month. So I'm going to have to do it in stages. So it's like a cooking show and I can be like, okay, I've done this. And now, oh, look, the resin's dry. And so I can show it in different stages. But if I was to actually do this to where it was going to be sold or be a gift, then obviously I'm going to clean it all up, sand it and whatnot, and probably find a cooler pattern that said Army or something. But since it's just for demo purposes, you can see one right there, mistake right there on the U. The U broke off when I was scrolling it out. So I just did the best I can with it. But if anybody's got any questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, we can move on to the gallery.
Okay, so we got a question in chat. One asking how you colored the resin. What did you use to color the resin?
Oh, Doug.
I dropped.
Uh-oh.
Come on back, Doug.
Did you fall
There
down,
we
Doug?
go. Okay, so you got me back? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, got okay. I dropped the phone. The resin that I used on this particular bowl is not that. That is gloves. Oh, here it is. Leo Bro, I think is how you say it, but there it is. Is that backwards?
Oh,
to you
we
guys,
see
or
it
are you
right.
seeing
It's
it the right
Libro.
way? Okay. Anyway, that's off Amazon Prime. I got it when I bought the resin. So without ever using this resin before and knowing that I
Doug, you're skipping out once again.
really no pitting or anything. It's just not a good finish because obviously I didn't sand anything and I was not very gentle when I put the CA glue on it. But I don't know. It's kind of cool when you hold it up to the light.
It's beautiful. Folks, there you had it. Soup to nuts in 30 minutes with Doug Rowe out in Arizona. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate the demonstration this evening, sir.
Very
You
nice.
betcha.
Very nice.
Good job, Doug.
All right,
job,
and we'll
Happy to
talk
do it.